What would you do if you started to have feelings for a coworker, but you're married? Well, that's exactly the situation this caller is in, and I give him a few tips to hopefully manage the situation. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel to hear me coach more live callers just like this one. Paul, welcome to the show. How can I help you today?
Hello, Doctor. Well, I've been having some thoughts about a coworker of mine for quite some time, and I don't know what exactly to do with these thoughts. I'm a married man. I've been married over 10 years, but there seems to be some chemistry between this coworker and I. I understand there's going to be some consequences if I move forward with something with her, but I just can't seem to shake it. I was hoping you'd be able to shed some light.
Sure. How long have you known this coworker, or how long have you been working together?
We've been working together for 5 years.
Have these been recent feelings developed, or have they been there for a long time?
Well, we've always had a friendship, but I think after maybe a few years being married, I feel like it's developed into something maybe more.
Yeah, and you're interested. I mean, so can I just ask, how's your relationship like with your wife?
My relationship with my wife is fine. We have a lot of respect for one another. There's a lot of love between us, but the passion seems to have faded a bit over the years.
Okay. So listen, I totally get when you're around someone who is, attractive or you're attracted to, and you're around them every day, and they're kind of new and interesting, and they're different from someone you're used to. That can all feel exciting, and it can get you excited. And certainly it's a tough situation to find yourself in. Have you addressed anything with your wife? Have you ever gone to sort of couples counseling or?
In the beginning of our marriage, we did do couples counseling.
Okay.
It was a big transition for me. Getting married, I never thought I would be married, to be quite frank. But it seems that this person just pays more attention to me.
Yeah.
It's difficult to ignore.
Would you like to stay married? Do you have a vision of staying married?
I do. I would very much like to stay married, but it's hard to ignore these desires, I guess.
Yeah. Would you be willing to go to a therapist with your wife and talk about not the thing that you're experiencing at work, but just talk about your relationship with her and how to figure out how to get some excitement or passion back into the relationship a little bit?
I thought about that, but I'm wondering how that would affect her.
How would it affect your wife?
Yeah, I don't want her to feel rejected by me or that I don't desire her the same way any longer.
I think, there's probably a way to frame it. And listen, if you go to a good therapist, hopefully you can have a little bit of time, at least maybe just a 30-minute session or something with a therapist to tell the therapist how you're feeling and that you're concerned that you will make your wife feel rejected. And maybe the therapist can help you figure out the right way to frame this. And, something along the lines of, I love you. I really love being married to you. I'm just noticing that, we're kind of getting into a routine and I would like to increase our passion and increase our excitement. I think we need some help doing that. If you could frame it in a way like that, that's kind of more positive, future focused, it could be better than delivering it in a way where you're saying, I don't feel any passion anymore or something like that,
I hear what you're saying, Doc, but at the same time, I don't know how my wife's going to respond to me having desires for someone else. Even if I do tell her that I still love her and I still want to be with her, hearing those words, I don't know how I would feel hearing those words coming out of her mouth. That's what concerns me.
You know what? Listen, those are your private thoughts and feelings. You haven't done anything, right?
No, I have not.
Those are your private thoughts and feelings. I think that you could talk to your therapist about it. And maybe it's reasonable for you not really to bring up, we have all sorts of thoughts and feelings in our lives that we filter from telling our significant others. There's lots of stuff that I think about that I don't necessarily need to go and tell my wife about. Now, if I were having ongoing feelings for someone, I might not tell her that because you're right. That could put her in a really bad space, really insecure, defensive space. I wouldn't want to do that to her, but I would want to address the relationship with her. And so I think it's totally reasonable to address the relationship with her, go to a therapist potentially, but not necessarily have to bring out the private thoughts and feelings you're having with your coworker.
I see. Sort of thread the needle, as you would say.
Yeah, filter in and out what is important. I mean, what's going to benefit your relationship at the end of the day? What kind of information does your wife need to know from you and how you're feeling to benefit your relationship? You have private thoughts and feelings that are not going to benefit the relationship by revealing those. You didn't do anything. You're just thinking things. Maybe it's better not to bring that up. Maybe it's better to frame this whole thing in a more positive and future-focused way for your wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Now, here's a question. If you get into some counseling, or if you have these conversations with your wife that are positive and productive, and your wife says, yeah, I want to work on stuff, let's try some stuff. You go to a therapist, maybe you have some interesting, fun, new things to try, and you feel like the relationship at work is a real barrier to you moving forward with your wife, would you be willing to take a step back in terms of that relationship, or in terms of just the dynamic there, or maybe even if it was absolutely necessary because you couldn't control it, to find a new place to work? Would your marriage be important enough to make that kind of decision?
Yes, it would be.
Okay, well then you're in a good space to improve your relationship with your wife. It sounds like you're very clear about that. So I think, to me, pulling back on any kind of energy or flirtation and just pitting up a bit of a sort of professional boundary and wall between you and this other coworker is going to be important while you're working on stuff with your wife. And if you can get into some sort of counseling with your wife and tell her that the whole reason you want to do it is not because you feel anything's wrong, but really because you want to explore how to enhance your current relationship with her, I think that might be the right way to go.
That does sound like the right avenue. Yes. Yeah. I don't, like we discussed, I don't want to put her in a bad headspace, and it's important that we be honest with each other. So
Absolutely.
Yes, I see that.
If you come to her in a positive light, if you come to her and say, I love our relationship, I love you, I just want to enhance things, I just want to get even better, I want the next 10 years to be even better than the last 10 years. If you come to her with that, I don't know your wife, but hopefully she will take that as like, oh, he's really interested in having a great relationship with me, and that's why he's coming to me.
Sound advice, Doc.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks, Paul. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for tuning into the Peacebuilding with Dr. Pollack show. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more workplace conflict advice. Share on social media if you think your friends and colleagues would benefit from this episode. And if you have a workplace conflict and want to be a caller on our show for free coaching and advice, please email podcast@pollackpeacebuilding.com. Thanks.